Welcome back to the February edition of Conversations with Archbishop Kurtz, and we have a great treat for you this segment because Deacon Denny Nash, who is the Archdiocesan Diaconate Director, is here with us. Deacon Denny, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me, Archbishop.
Absolutely. Yeah. Now, just a little bit of a background. I noticed by your resume, 39 years you worked in construction rental business.
That's correct.
And boy, that got you ready for working for the Lord full time here. I know your dear wife Teresa and 2 children and 2 grandchildren,
correct,
are with us in the community, and that you are active members at Good Shepherd.
That's correct.
Also ordained a deacon in 2012. And have been serving not only in your role now, but also in your diaconal ministry role at Good Shepherd and in prison ministry.
Yes.
So we have a lot of things to talk about. And you know, Denny, I have to tell you, the diaconate, we're in our 40th year. We're just celebrating 40 years in the Archdiocese of Deacons. And boy, what a gift the diaconate community has been for us.
I appreciate you saying that, Archbishop. It's been certainly a gift for me and my family. You know, many years ago, I've always been active in the church.
Right.
And cradle Catholic, and never really entered my mind that I would one day be a deacon in the church.
So who prodded you? Who was the one that got you going?
There were several instances in my life. Many years ago, I went through what was then called lay ministry formation.
Oh, okay.
And a lot of the folks kept saying, you know, Den, you'd make a good deacon. As a matter of fact, they almost harassed me about it. And I got to the point where I finally told them, look, I appreciate it, but it's never going to happen.
Wow. And I remember when I first came as Archbishop, you were involved in music ministry.
That's correct.
Absolutely. I remember
25 years at Good Shepherd.
So they were at that time prodding you. I didn't even know it.
Yep. And then ultimately it was Debbie Curran, the former secretary of the Office of the Diaconate. She and I worked for 10 years in Faith Club ministry.
Oh.
And
the Faith Club, that's worth its own segment. We're going to have to come back and do one on that.
So she, let's just say, strongly encouraged me to pursue it. And so talking with my wife and my children, I began to discern if God really was calling me to this. And not a day goes by that I don't thank God that He did. Yeah. It's just been so rewarding and enriching, not only for me personally, but for my family as well.
Just within the Archdiocese, given the fact that we've had the presence of deacons now for 40 years, and practically every parish has some presence, but tell us a little bit about the diaconate. I know it's strong within the Archdiocese and the kinds of ministries that are going on.
Well, you mentioned, you know, we're in our 40th year here in the diocese, almost 50 years since Vatican II. And I tend to think of the diaconate as evolving in terms of its service to the church. And while most of our deacons are very active in parishes, in parish ministry, parish life, everything from marriage prep, sacrament prep, handling funerals, baptisms,
preaching
is a huge part of it. But we're starting to see where we're really expanding our roles beyond the parish, where we're in hospital ministries. As you mentioned, we're in prisons. The county prisons, we're very active there, nursing homes, pretty much anywhere where there's a need. As you know, we are called to word, sacrament, and
it's good
charity.
Involvement with, especially with those in formation with St. Vincent de Paul, isn't there?
Wonderful work there. As a matter of fact, it's interesting. Part of the formation of deacons is we expect them to do ministry in various fields, and it's always encouraging to see these men jump-starting and electing to do it themselves without a lot of direction from us.
No, that's great. It's a sign of the genuineness of the call from God, isn't it? Well, you know, the diaconate, the order of deacons, has been restored from the Second Vatican Council. We're still, in a sense, understanding the gift, and as you said, it's evolving. Those in formation, how many are in formation?
We have 24 in formation currently. all married.
That's great. That's
Yeah,
great.
so-
That's wonderful. And
Yeah.
and it's a five-year program.
5-year program.
So we're serious about this.
They need to be.
Exactly.
You know, as you well know, it's a challenge balancing work and family and ministry. But the thing about being deacon is it's not either or, it pervades your entire life. So whether you're...
And in fact, your witness is most effective when there's a unity, isn't there?
I think so.
People like to see the fact that someone who is a deacon, especially someone who's married and has children, is preaching, is engaged in the work. I get letters telling me how grateful people are. So
I think that's one of the strongest aspects of the diaconate, and you mentioned it earlier, the presence
Exactly.
that we offer to the church. And one of the things that I think is changing is not so much that the deacon needs to be the one who's continuously in service to the church, but also to be the one as a servant leader who invites
Absolutely.
the laity
As a
to
catalyst.
answer their call to
Well,
serve.
Deacon Denny, I have one other thing to ask you about before we run out of time, but in terms of the diaconate, we're going to put your name up there on the screen so that if people have questions, even someone who might be discerning the process, it's good to, there's no wrong time for them to call. But in the last minute that we have, one of the things that the deacons really promoted has been our men's conference.
Yes.
And I want to give a little bit of an ad, if you would. I know it's Saturday, March 18th, so it's next month. I want to thank you for, on behalf of the diaconate community, in the leadership that you all have given to the men's conference. Will you be coming to it?
Of course,
So will I. So,
Yes.
so there's two already.
There you go.
But it's been good. I mean, we've had a great number. Well, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for the service to the diaconate. And those of you who are in our audience today, please take an interest in the gift of the diaconate. Understand the deacon who may be serving in your parish. And if you do have questions, Deacon Denny is always available to help us. What a great gift it is. I thank you for being with us today. And I thank all of you for staying with Conversations with Archbishop Kurtz. Please stay tuned now for the third and final segment.